What's up, everybody? This is Zach, voice of God,
No, this is not a ventriloquist act.
with Nerd Cave Gaming, and today we are bringing our reactions to the Ubisoft conference. If you're watching us over on YouTube, congratulations. If you're watching over us on Twitch, congratulations. Facebook is not working right now for some odd reason, so at least we have a reactions show.
Yeah. Sorry about not being able to do a pre-show, guys.
We tried
apologize.
everything to get it to work. It just, technology was not on our side earlier.
No.
This happens, or this is the result of the inmates running the asylum.
It's all Derek's fault.
I know, it is. Like I said, it was too good. It was going too well.
Yeah, everything was going too smoothly.
For something not to happen.
Yeah. So, I didn't watch any of it except for like the last 2 minutes.
Yeah,
So, I'm just going to chime in.
whenever you want to.
Did Todd Howard...
Todd
No.
Howard came out on stage.
But you know who didn't appear? We didn't get Todd Howard last night.
No.
We didn't get Aisha Tyler. For the first year in like the last 5 or so years, we have not seen that woman.
No.
And it was weird. Like,
Yeah.
we were going through the games, and we didn't think anything of it. And
I
look
think it was like after we got to like South. It was once we got to South Park.
like South Park.
You were
but-
like, wait a minute.
yeah, I was like, wait a minute. I looked at you and I was like, there's no
Yeah.
Aisha Tyler. What's wrong?
You were just
Because I'm
like-
sitting here like, there's something different. Wait. But I don't want to say it was good or bad without her, because there are some points where she's good. I know Zach has a love-hate relationship with Aisha Tyler, and I think because she's doing the new season of Whose Line Is It
Yeah.
Anyway, because it just started like end of May, so I think there was a scheduling conflict probably. Because she
Like-
would have been here, because she always lets us know how much she loves doing the things, so
Doing the things.
The thing,
and stuff.
things and stuff.
Yes.
Derek, Nick is saying, take off that shirt. I think he wants to see you naked.
No, he remembers last year when I betrayed him, so he's
I gotcha. I think he just wants to see you shirtless.
that too.
That's so scandalous.
But Nick, I will never take off this shirt. I'm true to PlayStation. You just can't take my honesty.
I don't know about that.
Shush, Zach. But let's get into the nitty gritty. So they started off. We were kind of thinking it wouldn't and it would not, because they started off with Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, which is their Mario and Rabbids matchup with Nintendo. It's going to be only on the Switch.
Yes.
They actually started with this to kind of get that out of the way. I was surprised and not surprised, because Nintendo doesn't like to really show their core properties at other things except their own events. But then we got shown Skyrim at Switch last night at Bethesda, and even though that's a third-party game, technically, it's still, they're treating it as it's a big exclusive because it's going to be on the Switch this year.
Yeah, and I was saying that the reason why they're doing that, and we'll get to it later, but later on they showed another game that's coming to Switch. It's not Switch exclusive.
Right.
But I think it's Nintendo, since they're just having like a Nintendo Direct or whatever, it's to them sort of like pushing the Switch a little bit.
I'm about to say, it's a thing that the show that third parties are behind the Switch. Like, it's not just when they flash the screen of all the third party developers wanting to corroborate with the Switch and Nintendo. It wasn't just for show. It's actually showing that they actually mean it too.
Yes.
But they came out and they had Yves Guillemot, the head of Ubisoft, come out, and then he introduced Shigeru Miyamoto, who came out, and it was kind of awkward because they had these like Mega Man blasters attached to their hands.
Yeah, but it was also like, it was kind of fun. It was kind of like cute, and it was like they were having their weapons. They were like pretending to like fire at each other, and
they were themed like it was the plumber pipe, and then Bullet Bill.
Yes.
But the whole part of it was there was a gameplay, like you get blasters attached, like you have
like
some
those
like the little
weapons.
goofy weapons.
Yeah.
And it was actually kind of intriguing because it looked like when it first popped up, like Yoshi Woolly World, like where you get to choose the hub worlds you go to, and then it also showed like kind of a Pikmin aesthetic because it had this little like Roomba rabbit avatar that was like, and all the characters were following behind him or it, and it was unique, and it was just like they were just showing off the aesthetic of it at first, and they actually showed gameplay, and it was completely different.
Absolutely. Like, we were just like, this is really interesting.
It was very strategy induced. It was there was a cover based system where you get to you have turns you get to do, and then I don't know if you caught it when they showed off like at the end of the battle sequence where it's almost like like a par score, like you use two, like the maximum to get like a good score on this was to not go more than 3 moves, and they used 2 moves technically.
Okay.
So
I don't remember.
it was like kind of like a golf par score, but it was intriguing that because they had all these different special abilities and all these different weapons that you can use to like you can use one to like highlight an enemy if it's behind that cover system, and then the whole jumping mechanic, and then one of the Luigi rabbit jumped into a pipe and
Yeah.
appeared on the other side for like an instant kill.
Yeah.
Only thing I worry about it is I feel like because this is going to be marketed to kids, I feel like some of the mechanics in the beginning it might not be so bad, but some of the mechanics might be over the kid's head. Like some of the combos and abilities you get to
Yeah.
pull off. Like I feel like there needs to be some type of learning curve with it. But
I'm sure it'll be implemented in. If Nintendo's good at anything, it's getting games marketed towards like a younger audience and providing those learning curves.
right.
So.
Yeah. And the good news is that game's actually out sooner than we anticipated. It's out
Yes.
August 29th, only on Switch, so you'll get to play it soon. And I'm also sure that they'll show off more at Nintendo's conference.
Yeah, probably.
They always want to double down. Zach, I know you didn't see it, but any thoughts initially from that reveal?
No, not really.
Okay. Okay.
I didn't see anything of it, so
Okay. Well, I know, but I'm just saying from what we've discussed, like, do you have any initial thoughts?
Nintendo will do everything well.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So I have faith in them. They're on the upswing.
Games, they do well.
Yeah.
Systems, toy company, right?
Yes, with the way they put things out.
Yeah.
But I do love my Switch.
Okay. Then the next thing they showed up, and I know this was you were excited about it. So they brought Assassin's Creed Origins out there.
Yeah.
Now we were kind of wondering like how much more they would show because we got a trailer.
Yeah, there was a
and we got
lengthy
another
amount shown. During,
yeah. It was a lot of gameplay mechanics. They just showed another trailer, and but they had, and of course, it wouldn't be EA without some kind of weird moment. They cut to another like group of people that were going to demo it
Yeah.
after the conference, and instead of just being like, "Hey, you can check these guys out," they were like, "Hey, why don't you show us what we're in store for?" And on this small TV that we could barely tell anything, they zoomed in and tried to be like, "Hey, I'm going to use my Eagle Companion for this," and then map out the target.
They were showing the gameplay, but they didn't have any capture for the actual like monitor.
Yeah.
So it's just the camera capturing it.
Yeah.
And what it sounded like was that it had its own capture, but they were going to show that after.
Yeah, it was their
conference. But it's still
tease
just,
to
really
like check
awkward,
in.
because the camera guy's like I have to hold this like perfectly still.
Yeah, but what did you think? Because we did get another lengthy gameplay trailer that showed off more, and it's been said kind of already from other websites and whatnot. This world feels more alive, and that's
Yes.
what I got from the new trailer.
Oh,
It's like there's a
absolutely.
ton going on, and they did say this morning, Zach, that that in I think it was IGN said that this Assassin's Creed is going to be more RPG-ish. So that's going to be, I don't know if that's necessarily going to work for the series because I don't feel like it's necessary, but they're trying new things at least because they always get flack for just copy and pasting some other game elements into their newest stuff. But
So much.
it's out October 27th. We already found that out yesterday at Microsoft's conference, but I like how, because they're going to have the little skip shearing on the Nile River, and there's going to be, like, merchants and towns you get to visit, and they overemphasize, like, they're kind of taking a page from Far Cry with, like, the wildlife being more involved with it, too. Like, they
Yeah.
showed, like, a hippo fighting a crocodile.
Yeah. And then the lion chasing down the gazelle.
Yeah,
whatever
and
it
then
was.
hyenas, and then they're overemphasizing that crocodiles is going to be a big part because they showed like two going toward the ship, and it looks like you can also do like some kind of small ship battles because they did show one of them sinking.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering like if it's like a double danger. It's like you're in a ship battle, and then if you sinks, you have to swim fast because otherwise crocodiles will get
Yeah.
you. But I wonder how much of the environment, like just wildlife, will play a factor because I know that's my big thing for Far Cry. Far Cry series does like the world well, and it makes the world living with the wildlife, and so you have to be on your toes constantly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it'll be really interesting to see. But yeah, like the fact that even just like down to the wildlife, yeah, like you said, like it just everything about it feels far more alive. And again, like Zach's actually watching it right now, but Ubisoft and their I didn't realize you switched it. But yeah, Ubisoft and their cinematic trailers are always outstanding. Like in my opinion, they're one of, if not the best out there.
Yeah.
So it was just absolutely breathtaking to watch that. I'm so excited. Like
Yeah.
I'm wearing my Assassin's Creed shirt. But
Represent.
yeah, but I want to learn more about it. Just
Yeah.
the story.
And we'll get more. There'll be inklings over the course of the rest of the week.
Talking about Splatoon.
Yeah.
No, Zach, wrong
You
conference.
said inklings though.
Sure, whatever. What did you think of the initial trailer?
The one from yesterday's I thought was really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen today's, but I'm
Well, I
excited
know you were just seeing the snippet though.
Yeah, just the snippet. I'm excited to get back into Assassin's Creed.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they revealed this on there. Did y'all see
No,
this?
they didn't. Tell me about that.
Okay, so
How am I going to lose my money now?
E3 2017 Assassin's Creed Origins Dawn of the Creed Legendary Edition.
Oh, goodness.
Pre-order the $800 edition
Oh,
today.
God.
Excuse me?
Ubisoft
No.
has revealed an $800 collection edition of Assassin's Creed Origins dubbed the Dawn of the Creed Legendary
Is
Edition.
it giving me a lifelike blade from the game? Because that would be fantastic for
like a functioning blade.
No, like the little weapon, like the sword weapon that they showed.
Oh,
I want one of those.
Cool.
I pay.
This premium bundle includes a copy of the gold steelbook edition of a game, a 28.7-inch statue of the protagonist, Bayek, a world map, and 4 lithographs, as well as the game's soundtrack and a season pass, an art book, art cards, and Bayek's Eagle Amulet are included as well.
Not worth $800.
Those are all really cool things. Not worth $800.
Like,
What the
oh
heck?
my
the
god.
statue, I think, is what they're trying to make it where it's more than...
It better be done by Triforce if it's $800 frickin' dollars.
Like
It
got,
looks
It's
amazing.
got a lot of detail to
Yeah.
it, but
That's
that's
$800.
a lot of money for
Now-
just...
I wonder if
Yeah.
it's going to be in America this time because they did a special stuff for Syndicate, but it was like kind of in Europe and like random other sites because GameStop
That's
never
fair.
got any of those
That's
copies.
true.
So we'll see. Actually, it was on their Ubisoft fan website, or their main website is where you can get the collector's edition from. So I wonder if it'll be mass marketed. Intriguing. Way overpriced.
That's
Which,
insane.
also speaking of overpriced, I don't mean to kill the hype for the game. There's a listing for the gold edition, right? And it has a steelbook, but so have some other games. Usually when they do like a gold edition, it's usually the game plus season pass plus whatever extra content you get, and that's
Yeah.
usually the price of what you would pay for anyway. South Park has a $100 one, so that means most of Ubisoft's season passes now are $40. This one's $110, which means the season pass is $50.
Yeah.
So it better come with a crap ton of content and better not be all multiplayer if they do any kind of multiplayer, because they didn't really show off or talk about any multiplayer aspects.
No, they didn't.
But it used to be like a big part. Now they took it out in Syndicate, but
Yeah.
I wonder if, because we did allude to, because we also saw in the demo or the new trailer, chariot racing or like chariot rides. So I wonder if they'll bring that back. So, but that's
Yeah, I think it'll be really cool to see because, it seems like they're as they said, so like it's like they want to like bring the game back. So it's like they're picking out the best elements from all the other games, going, okay, this is what we actually did right. Let's
right.
put
But
it all
now
together.
they're kind of souring it with these price points
Yeah,
for some
but
of
that's
the
the thing.
things.
It's like
'Cause-
you can't give us all this amazing stuff, and it's like, I mean, like there's. Yeah, they're overpricing way too much.
Yeah, it goes to that. If someone's going to throw down $800, they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
It's not for the faint of heart type deal.
It's for the hardcore.
It is really, really, really pricey. So I won't be buying it.
No,
me
me either.
I mean, I won't deny that, like, if I was in a position where I could, like, buy that and have it be no big deal, I mean, obviously I would. But, like,
Yeah.
sorry, I think I just fell.
You're good. I'd rather buy a VR headset and an Xbox One X before I'd buy an $800 collector's edition.
Oh yeah, I agree.
I'd rather,
So.
like, transfer all this stuff over and get the new, like, Pro. Or
Yeah,
not the
PS4 Pro.
The gold.
Yeah.
That gold PS4 Slim.
So the next game they showed, The Crew 2, which they already said was coming. They're doing more. It's still going to be the United States. I don't know if either one of you played any of the Crew one. I played a little bit only because my brother had it. It's very like it's their it was like their MMO race car game. Customization was great and the world was great. It wasn't an exact replica, mind you, but it was like you went from Ohio to Miami, Florida in a couple of hours. Now in real life that takes a couple of days, but you got there in like 2-3 hours of in-game time. So it was cool to see how big they made the world. And of course, you know, the whole thing was like squad up and like your crew and go do objectives, kind of like what the Division and Destiny incorporate. This one though had a different feel. This one, they didn't really say if it was going to be online again. I'm assuming it will, but it seems like they were more.
It's a Ubisoft game.
You're right. But it seems like they were more focused on the single player aspect because your character is a guy who was, they showed him off like working as a car mechanic. And then he as the game progressed, it showed you rising through the ranks and becoming like this all motorsports star because they're incorporating, they did 2 expansions for it. They did Wild Run, which incorporated off-road vehicles, and then Calling All Units, which incorporated squad cars like police units, what have you. This one, they're incorporating different types of vehicles. Like you still have your classic cars, but you're also doing off-road vehicles and now dirt bikes. Yeah. You're doing boats, and now planes too. And those all are going to have like different trials, and they're going to have like their own different skill sets. And as they're doing it, it's like he's the #1 motorsport star in the world now. So it seems like they're trying to incorporate some type of story campaign aspect into this, which looked cool.
Would you say planes, trains, and automobiles?
No trains.
No trains.
I know. I'm making a joke
I know,
because that's
but
a John Candy movie.
Come
on.
I know what planes, trains, and automobile.
But it's coming out early 2018, which they said there are 4 big games: South Park, Assassin's Creed, Far Cry 5, and The Crew 2 will all be out in their fiscal year 2017-2018. So everything will be out before March 30 or by March 31st of 2018. So Far Cry 5 is already, we'll get to that later, but it's already the February game. So I'm assuming Crew 2 will be their March game. Yeah. But because they did it this past year, they did For Honor in February, Ghost Recon in March. But
I forgot they did For Honor.
Yeah, but it looks cool. I like the direction they're taking. It seems like they took a lot of fan feedback again because a lot of fans they didn't like the MMO aspect to it because it's like you're already dropping Division, they not at this point, but then it's like they followed up with another like shooter MMO in Division. So I still think it'll be an online game, but I wonder if it'll still be an MMO, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
So, but moving on, they showed another trailer for South Park. They still are sticking to their new release date of October 17th. It's more South Park, new trailer, very, not for kid friendly, not kid friendly.
Very South Park.
They didn't show any real new gameplay because they showed pretty much what they wanted to show. They just wanted to remind you, it's like, hey, it's October. Now, I want to just this was supposed to be in the pre-show stuff, but I'm just going to ask you guys right now, do you think it'll get pushed again? Do you think October 17th is like their stick date?
I think it is their stick date. They don't want to do what they did with the Stick of Truth, and I think them pushing it the few times. Haven't they done it twice so far?
Yeah, they've done it twice because it was supposed to be
Yeah, it's supposed to be out for quite some time. So I think that they're going to make this be the one that sticks and not give any ground on it.
Right, because now the Stick of Truth, I'll give some leeway just because they had issues with THQ going under, and they had to reacquire, they were selling off the property, so they were going through that whole debacle. So I understand Stick of Truth's issue, but now they don't have an excuse, so it's got to be out now.
It's more.
And this is interesting too. When they did a new trailer reveal and they give the new release date in the fine print, because for pre-orders you get a digital version of the Stick of Truth for new consoles. In the fine print, it says the codes have to be redeemed by January 1st, 2018. So if they push it again, it has to be December because if they push it in 2018, they have to push back that agreement, or the people are going to miss out, or send out the codes early because that pretty much limits them to put it out by this year.
Yeah, I think it'll be their stick date, like their stick 2 date.
Yeah, so where else would it go? Because October is looking stacked at the moment. It's usually November, but
and plus, they can't, because their next game that's coming out is Assassin's Creed on the 27th.
Yeah.
So they have to push it
Yeah.
a little bit
Even
after
though
that, 'cause
a
they don't
few-
want it to like stack. I mean,
Now, granted, they pushed Unity and Rogue back that year, but you
That's
think back to
true.
2014, they put Unity and Rogue out, and then a week later, Far Cry 4.
that's true.
So,
Yeah, and besides, 17th and 27th.
Some of these people, I just don't understand. I don't think they like money.
yeah,
Some of these companies.
but
No, Ubisoft loves your money. They're just not. I love Ubisoft, but they're not always the best at acquiring your money.
yeah,
But they love it.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, they definitely love it. That $800 statue. Look at that.
Now, the next one they showed off was actually really cool.
Yes.
It's
and
a new VR game,
Is this the whole like?
Transference.
No, never mind.
Yeah, no, this is.
was the pirate one.
Oh
No,
no,
no, we're
that's
coming up to
next.
that
That's
soon.
next. But
Okay.
so they showed off to a bunch of people in a conference room, and then they cut to Elijah Wood.
Yeah, Elijah Wood. And you're like, whoa, Elijah Wood. And
I
then he's
know.
like he's one of the creative directors for it,
I know, and
which was really cool to see.
for those of you who don't know who that is, he played Frodo Baggins in the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
What are
So
you doing with your life?
He's
well.
making a video game.
No, I said.
Oh.
yeah, if you don't know who he is.
What
Yeah.
are you doing with your life?
But it was a conference room, and then they cut to this like television with a bunch of people in VR headsets. Pretty much like the whole thing, like TVs warps your mind, or like the mind control aspect, and that's all they kind of alluded to. Is just like, it's like you're plugged in, you're being brainwashed, fed this
Well,
kind of stuff.
Well, like, it was more like you're seeing these things, but like you're seeing other people's like memories, other people's, as he said, like recorded conscience.
Right.
Consciences.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So it's more like you're stepping into the mind of people, and you're trying to. I mean, I don't know what's going on, but as like they said, like we want you to like leave the game, like you take off the equipment, and you're still like
freaked out. Yeah.
So,
I don't know if they're going with the horror aspect, but it's definitely going to have some kind of
It's definitely
psychological
I was gonna say it's
effect
definitely has to
on
be like
you.
some kind of psychological horror game. I'm excited to learn more about it.
Yeah, and I mean the fact that it's a new VR game to show that they're still wanting to support VR, because last year they said we'd like to partner with Sony, that we like to support their systems. So they did 2 VR games last year with Star Trek Bridge Crew and Eagle Flight.
Yeah.
So this is cool to see them support that. I thought they would have showed more VR games, but I mean no less than 3. But the fact that they announced a VR game is nice.
Yeah, and it's like a new VR game.
And it's spring 2018
Yeah,
is
spring
when it's
2018.
coming, so it'll probably be around the
We'll definitely be
time.
learning more about it soon.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Then the next one, Zach, this is the one, is they announced a new one. There was talk because of how well the pirate ship gameplay for Black Flag went over, that they were working on a new pirate IP.
Yes.
It's the game's called Skull and Bones.
Yes, and before you get into it,
Okay.
Nick Caputo said, "I'm very interested to hear your guys' thoughts on the pirate game."
I liked it a lot. Like, I was very impressed. Like, it's got a female protagonist, or at least in the CG trailer they showed, it was a female ship captain.
Yeah.
And it's set in 1721. They showed multiple pirate ship interactions. They showed a little snippet of a 5v5 player PvP gameplay. It's called Loot Hunt, which pretty much, you rack. It's almost like kill count, where the more loot you take, and it's also like have you seen that game Dead by Daylight, Zach?
Yes, I have. I've played it.
You know how there's a killer, and then there's the people trying. Their objective is to escape,
the survivors or whatever.
and as long as one escapes, that team wins.
Yeah.
It's almost like that. It's like
This looks really good.
Yeah, it does. It looks amazing.
And even pretty much like if you have all the loot that you store and you've got the high score, and then you sail off into then you win, even though the whole team for the opposing side is still up. So like 4 of your 5 teammates can be taken out, but as long as you escape with the loot, you win.
And also,
so
like,
that's what I kind of felt like.
Also, it allows your teammates to like say there's like the opposing team, they're trying to go after you, allows your other teammates to kind of like wall off or block them off. So it's like you go get the loot.
Right.
Like, and it's cool just seeing like the different types of ships. Like you have like smaller ships, and then you have like man of wars. That have,
They
like,
have man of
rows and
wars.
rows
They
of
said
those.
there were war sloops. I can't remember what they're called now. They had frigates. I'm assuming they'll have galleons in there somewhere. I love pirate ships.
But they also showed in the gameplay, like during ship combat, you can actually board the other player's ships too.
Can you shoot yourself out of a cannon?
No.
No. Zach, Sea of Thieves was yesterday.
I'm about to say, this is actually a real pirate game. This is not an atrocity.
But no, like the game looks amazing. I'm super excited about it.
My one concern, though, is I don't want it to be another Sea of Thieves thing where it's only online. Like, I do want a single-player experience. Like, the multiplayer is fine. It's a signature Ubisoft staple. It's whatever. I just don't want it to be, like, a more mature version of Sea of Thieves where you have to be always connected or have to squad up with people in order to play this game and not have, like, just a single-player experience. I don't want that. But now we'll find out more because they did actually put a release window on this. It's fall, but it's fall of next year. So
Yeah. Well, it looks great, and
Yeah, it looks amazing.
just
Oh.
getting some more in-depth, getting that ship play that which we got from Black Flag, and it looks like they've added even more to it.
Yeah, like
Right.
it definitely, like you can, like you look at it and you're just like, yes, like I'm familiar with this, but yeah, they've added so much more. There's all these like, it seems like they've, like even just from the short amount they showed, like they refined some of the cannons, because like
yeah.
there were times where you're like, I know I should be able to turn my cannons more, but you couldn't. So it seems like
Yeah.
they've refined a lot of things. So I'm really excited.
And they showed this little snippet at the end of the trailer where I don't know how this is going to play out, like where if you can summon this or whatnot, but they showed a ship sinking down, and then you just see a top-down view, and at the end you just see tentacles. Like
You- like, you can
large
see the
crack,
body.
like a kraken. You see the kraken underneath you.
Yeah, like
so I don't
it
know
is
if it'll be.
massive.
I don't know if it'll be like some kind of thing that pops up during the midst of a multiplayer session or whatnot.
That'd be
but
insane. It's like wild card. Have fun with that.
yeah, the fact that sea creatures will be able to interact with you is really cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Yeah, just I was very impressed with like how they really like captured the scale of just how immense this creature was.
But Zach, do you have any more thoughts on it?
No.
Okay. Then they showed Just Dance. It's coming October, which is normally
And it had some like weird girl singing.
Yeah, we were just like,
it's
who
like
is
Baby
this?
Rexa or what's her name is. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, yeah, you're definitely a baby pop star because I've never heard of you before. But then again, I don't keep up with pop stars
I don't either.
hardly anymore. But
Oh, you know you do.
we sound like a bunch of old curmudgeons. It's like back in my day.
Well, we didn't have to keep up with them.
But they didn't even really. But you didn't really see any like new songs or new features that were in the game. They were just like, here's a weird dance montage and a somewhat known pop star or up and coming pop star. And October, goodbye. It's Just Dance.
No, like literally, she just came out. She's like, "Hi, thanks. This is Just Dance. Bye."
Yeah.
And just left. We were like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Like it was sort of like the South Park thing. It's like you know what it is. You know what you're gonna get. Just know it's coming this year. Bye.
Yeah.
But that makes 3 Ubisoft games in October though. Even though Just Dance sells well for them, but I don't ever consider it like a major thing.
I don't really.
But it does what it's going to do. Then they come out of nowhere. They see this. They show a phone, and I thought, okay, they've already announced like a few years ago they said, oh, you can use your phone as a controller now instead of like Wii remotes or some weird motion controllers.
Yeah.
You can use your phone as an app. I'm like, are they reiterating this or are they trying to do something new with it?
And all of a sudden,
then South Park.
And the Cartman comes up on screen. He's like, "Hey."
They're doing a South Park mobile game. It's called South Park Phone Destroyer, and it's a turn-based RP. It's similar to the style of the South Park games.
Yeah.
But instead, they're adding like class-based, because it says like cowboys versus Indians versus cops versus clerics versus wizards, and they just kept going and going.
Sir.
Sir,
You're-
come over here, young man. You better
You're
cry
either-
for me.
You're either gonna stay over there and take your clothes off, or you come over here and
Get
cry for
frisked.
me.
2 options, but yeah, that was kind of the random announcement.
Where are the little boys?
Oh no.
Ellie's like, what the crap is going on?
No, I know what the crap's going on.
Oh yeah. Sir?
But, they kept doing all these different classes, like knights, wizards, clerics, So they're trying to say there's a vast array you can choose from.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed a little snippet of gameplay. It's coming out fall of this year. So it's cool. Like, I don't want to say it's surprising, but it feels like they need to do something with the mobile genre, too. Like, everyone, like, some of the staples now are indies, mobile games, and VR. Now, that feels like... esports too. Those are like some of the staples that I feel like everyone almost does now every year.
Yeah.
But it's cool. Like it's more South Park, and I wonder if it'll be coming out around. It'd be cool to do it around the same time as the game.
Yeah, that
And
was
it's like,
cool.
hey, if you want more South Park, you enjoy what we make.
It'd be
Same day,
interesting-
mobile game.
It'd be interesting if it's like people if they haven't announced it yet. If you get the new South Park game, if it's like like inside the box, like there'll be a code that like unlocks some special perks for the mobile game.
I was just gonna say, if they had like a companion app to
Yeah.
connect the two games, that would be cool to do. Like if you like how you create your character in Fractured Butthole, and then you could upload that character class to the mobile game. That'd be cool to see. Then next, we saw another new IP. It's running on their Snowdrop engine, which is the thing they created for The Division, and they're using it for the new South Park game. So that's kind of like it's becoming their Frostbite engine now to create a lot of things. It's called Starlink. It's like this space adventure game. You're fighting a group called the Legion. That's going to be the main enemy. And this is another game that they announced is going to be coming to the Switch.
Yes.
It's going to be on other consoles too, but it's not. It's going to be on the Switch.
Oh, by the way, Switch.
What's cool about it is there, while there's going to be it's almost like this is like a poor man's version of Amiibo or Lego Dimensions characters or whatnot, but you can actually build ships to use, and they'll have different, it looks like you can use different parts to build it.
So you can like upgrade your ship.
And you can I don't know how it'll work, it'll be probably one of the little ports on your controller, but you can actually attach that to your controller or tablet on the Switch.
So it's that way, it's like, hey, this is the ship I'm using.
And it'll read it, and it'll upload it to the game for you to use.
Yes, it looks really cool. I'm excited.
I mean, it didn't look graphically impressive for using a Snowdrop engine, but then again, I think they're wanting to do it more for the features that they're doing in the game.
I agree. It feels like they wanted a more like simplistic art style, which is kind of what it felt like. But yeah, it's more so the like the ship aspect of it. Like you can create your ships. That's what they really want to focus on.
And it's interesting to see them, I hope, try and do something new. And like, it's not really a new genre, but just a new game mechanic with the whole shipbuilding thing.
Yeah.
My hope is, I hope they don't do another Toys to Life thing, because that's slowly dying off already. Like Lego Dimensions has been low-key canceled. Skylanders is taking a year off, but I want that to, I've been wanting Skylanders to be over for a while now. I know they were the ones that started, but it's gone stale for me. Infinity was the first one to get canceled, so I hope they don't. And Amiibo is still relevant in some aspects, but they don't push it. You don't see the push for it anymore.
No, the last big push you saw for it was
last night.
Well, yeah, last night, but Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, you're right. I just hope that they're not trying to do that, make this into a Toys to Life game when that genre has already come and gone.
It looks like they are. Just reading this article from IGN, revealed during the Ubisoft press conference, Starlink incorporates a Toys to Life structure with a modular ship and its pilot attaching atop. The player's controller pieces can be added or taken off the base ship model, instantly altering the in-game version, while players can choose to play as different pilots based on what figure they attach to the controller. This game follows a group of pilots who have traveled to the Atlas Star system, and will see players controlling their ship from a third-person perspective, both inner and outer space and on the surface of planets. Aerial dogfights will occur in space, while players will battle with a variety of terrestrial enemies when near planet surfaces. Ubisoft promotes dogfighting.
I think it's a bad move for the Toys to Life thing. Personally,
I agree.
That's
but
definitely.
I'm still excited. It looks like fun.
I mean, it is. It does look fun. I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying the way that if it is a Toys to Life game, bad move, because it's a dead genre now. But
yeah, I absolutely adore Lego Dimensions, but it is what it is.
Yeah. But it is coming out fall 2018. So Ubisoft said on the earnings call when they showed off when they announced the 4 big games for this fiscal year that they want to try and have 4 big properties for each fiscal year. Yeah. So it looks like Skull and Bones and Starlink will be 2 of their big games for next year already. Then I knew they'd do as an expansion for one of their online-centric games. It wasn't the one I was thinking of, because we didn't see a Tom Clancy game this year, or some kind of mention of it, which is interesting, because it feels like, because I've been saying for the last couple of years, is a new Splinter Cell needs to happen. We haven't had one since before the consoles came out.
Well, the guys that are making that game we just talked about made the last Splinter Cell.
Oh.
Yeah, they were the ones that made Blacklist.
Interesting. But
which I agree. I would love another Splinter Cell, but I think it's ran its course for a little while longer. I know the last game that we got from Tom Clancy was Ghost Recon.
Yeah. And then look how many years between Ghost Recon and Rainbow Six that we got before we got new games, too.
Yeah.
So, you're right. It's just something I want to complete. I know The Division's a new Tom Clancy property, but as far as the trifecta goes, with Splinter Cell, it's time for a new game, at least on this generation. But they did talk about Steep, It was their one more thing moment. I know we were all kind of like last year we were running on fumes because it went 2 hours and we were all hungry, but it was an intriguing game. It was a Ubisoft game, open world, checkbox stuff, and like I was telling Zach the other day, it was a cool game. But then like the challenges didn't like it got old and the same repetitive after a while, so it didn't bring anything fresh. Now they did point out their Winterfest, which is was their last big expansion for the season pass people, which that kind of breathed more life because it was actually a decent piece of content. But they're adding a new expansion to it. It's coming out in December. It's called the Steep expansion Road to the Olympics, which is they showed up the 5 rings, which we figured, all right, because Winter Olympics are coming up this year, so if it's time it only made sense for them to tie it in. And they said, where is it?
It's if I remember the name correctly, it's Pyong, China.
Okay, so
If I believe that's correct.
Yeah, so I don't remember if that's already been confirmed. I'm pretty sure it is because they have to announce it years in advance.
It was and then it said they plan that stuff way in advance, and it said like official license.
Yeah.
So,
but that's cool to see them having an Olympic tie-in to do something and to make the game bring back a game. So if they even do like a year update thing for Steep, that's cool to see.
Yeah.
But then they showed off the game I was waiting for, Far Cry 5. Wasn't as much as I was wanting, but it's one of those things where they've shown enough. You know what Far Cry is, and they're trying to be nitpicky because of the content on it. But they're bringing back the guns for hire, like that was a thing in Far Cry 4. Like you can bring in co-op, and actually that reminds me, I need to pull up stuff on the phone here.
Up on the phone.
Yeah.
On the phone.
Yeah, there was one character, it was one of the guns for hire that they introduced.
Grace.
Yeah, Grace.
They started. I was like, boom, boom.
Boom, boom, and I was just like, she's already my favorite.
Yeah, they showed off the different companions you'll have in the game.
And some of their the different abilities. Like there was I can't remember his name now, but there was the one guy who
In
was
the plane.
Yeah, in the plane. So you have aerial support.
Yeah, that's one of the things, and this is the article on Game Informer. Like they talked about 23 new things in Far Cry 5 when it was initially announced, and they went off a bunch of story stuff that you already knew from articles and trailers. But then this is the gameplay changes they made, which I thought was cool. That you have a dog companion. You saw that in the trailer. And the co-op feature they showed you, they're bringing co-op back, but it's going to be co-op for the entire game, not just not just the exploration factor, which they did in 4. But you will have a dog companion. They introduced animal companions in Primal. You can tame them, and I think you're going to do this in this. You have to tame them too. But the cool thing is when you kill an enemy, your companion will go fetch the guns for you and bring them to you.
Yeah, you saw him bring the gun to you, and I was like, oh. Good boy, fetch.
So if you're running low on ammo, you can just ditch that and they'll bring you a new gun. Yeah. But some of the stuff they included were, and this is a typical Ubisoft thing, because you know how they said Unity was their biggest one, Wildlands were their biggest one, and they're saying Far Cry 5 will be the biggest open world they've ever done yet. So they always try and keep one-upping themselves.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You can go and this is cool. Like, you know how most open world games you're limited to where you can go in the beginning? Yes. They said from the get-go, the entire map is open.
That's amazing.
So that's really cool. Now, I wonder if they'll scale it to where it's like, hey, because the farther you get, the more dangerous certain sections get. I wonder if that'll still be a thing.
Probably. Because it's one of those things, it's similar with Breath of the Wild. Like, they came out and said, after you beat the little tutorial area, and still that place is huge, it's like, oh, the whole map is open to you. But it's still certain enemies are harder. So
you still need certain aspects and abilities before you can go do it.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, oh yeah, you can do that, but it kind of guides you to the right path. Like, yeah, you can do that, but you should probably go do that stuff first.
Yeah. And Zach just saw it earlier. You can actually fly planes, which is the first in the Far Cry game. You can actually use those, and you can attach weapons to them like machine guns and whatnot, so that you will have aerial combat in this game.
It looks like a lot of fun. I'm very excited for it.
They'll also have muscle cars, big rigs, and tractors that you can drive. And we saw that one of the tractors eviscerating someone. Melee. They're doing more melee weapons because it also used to be like a little big knife blade. They're going to include stuff like sledgehammers and pitchforks into the game too. So they're going to go more melee centric with the weapons.
I love me some melee.
And you can even hurl pitchforks at them too. Of course, we talked about the animal companions. Co-op. We talked about co-op, and that's going to be, can play through the entire game with a friend. There's also going to be a resistance meter, which you see that in the game to an extent, with the militia responding to your attacks. And actually, they're going to have a thing in this game where the AI tracks the effect you're having in the game, and alters the enemy's strategy against you. So it's going to be smart AI.
Yeah.
They'll actually adapt to how you play. So if you go all stealthy and you just go through knifing it, they're going to have more defenses to, make you be on alert, like more like watchdogs sort of thing, which I thought was cool.
I like those.
That's the one thing I didn't think. It's one of those things where you didn't think you needed it, but now that it's a thing, that you're glad it's in there now.
Because eventually it's one of the things where it's like you start getting so good at, like stealth, like you start getting so good at it that eventually you're just like, there's no challenge left anymore. But now it's like, like you'll just be able to keep honing your craft for it, and there will always be another challenge.
Right. And they're kind of going to do the Telltale thing, where they're going to have choices that affect how the game plays out. So it's not just the enemy AI, it's also going to be the choices you make in the game will affect some of the outcome in the gameplay style too for you. Of course, they showed off the guns for hire, but now what they didn't say is we'll have each of the guns for hire will have the special skills, but you saw that in the trailer.
Yeah.
And then you can also have 3 fighting by your side at once. So it's going to be a co-op group so pretty much almost like a Ghost Recon's type thing where you can call in multiple people to help you out. So it feels like, because the way it's set up, because it's a weird cult thing, that it feels like it has to be a group effort to help take them out, because there's such a what's the word I'm looking for? Such a force to be reckoned with in the game. And the last thing it is like it's going to have outdoorsman oriented side activities like fly fishing and hunting. So again, Breath of the Wild stuff to an extent, but I read this, and even before they showed off the trailer and the little gameplay snippet of Far Cry, I could just tell from like the article that they are like keeping what Far Cry is at its core, but completely revamping a lot of what the game is and what the game does. And I'm stoked for it. I'm upset that it has to be February. We have to wait for it, but February 27th is the official release. But I'm glad that they are making so many of these changes to Far Cry 5. It feels like, because I know people were upset, Far Cry 4 felt like a half step up from 3, because 3 is still my favorite.
I adored 3.
Primal was very divisive. Like you had some people that liked it a lot, but you had a lot more people that were like,
I heard a lot of backlash about that.
That didn't care for it. So I'm glad to see that Far Cry 5 is like taking that step of, hey, we know that you love what we do as a core game, but we also hear that you want different things than just the same thing reskinned over. So we're expanding, and we're making it an enjoyable game again.
Yes.
Zach, any more thought, especially to what I was reading down, or?
I think it looks pretty interesting. My biggest thing is I'm not huge on the whole cult thing.
Yeah, I know, and I know you with Outlast 2, that was a big issue for you too.
Yeah, no, it can be tough to swallow.
And Dan Hay did say, and I know when initial thoughts you did a couple weeks ago, he was like, you hoped it didn't do it overboard, but Dan Hay came out and said in the article like they made this game to be divisive as well, so it looks like they won't shy away from the issue of it.
No.
So
Absolutely not.
Just letting that out there.
Well, good for them.
So
I'm excited.
And then their big one more thing moment. And Michelle Ansel, you beautiful person, you tried to do the David Jaffe thing, because David Jaffe said a couple years back, oh, we're not going to be at E3, and then they came out an ice cream truck and announced the new Twisted Metal for PS3. He said, we won't see Beyond Good and Evil 2 at E3, or expected at expect an update soon. Which this was soon from when he posted it. And what do we see? And I again, like yesterday at Microsoft conference, I knew from the moment, because it was like this weird like animals talking over like this idol, and I just saw the pig in the tank top, and I was like, Beyond Good and Evil. And it was a CG trailer, but it looked wacky, it looked zany, it looks like they're making it, because I didn't really play the first one, so I don't know how to go, but it looks like they're going more over the top with it.
Yeah,
especially by the amount of F-bombs that were dropped. But
they're a good amount dropped.
But then they go to the ship, and then they hand these plans to the ship captain, and they didn't really show her face.
Yeah, they just show her face.
But it was Jade, the main character of the first game, and then they just showed the Beyond Good and Evil 2 logo, and everyone was ecstatic. Yeah. And then it was also kind of touching, because Michelle Ansel, he's kind of working on two different things. He's working on this, and he's working on the game Wild, which is so far a PS4 exclusive that was announced at Games.
I can't wait to play Wild. Wild looks awesome.
Wild looks fantastic. I'd like to see more about that game whenever. What happened to that? We haven't had an update since, 2015?
Yep.
Maybe we'll get an update later.
That almost seems like a PSX thing or a Gamescom thing, but I hope we see an update this year. But he came out there and he was choked up about it because
Yeah,
the fan reception was so positive for it.
And he's just so overwhelmed. And I was like, oh.
I know. But it looked cool. I know, Zach, that was one of the things you came in at the end for.
Yeah.
What were your initial thoughts? Even though it's a trailer, what were your initial thoughts on it?
It looks pretty cool. Like you said, I haven't played it, but it is something that has a lot of people excited, and I'm glad that they're finally doing it. It's kind of one of those games that you thought would never happen.
Yeah.
But it's finally happening.
Kind of like a Last Guardian or Kingdom Hearts 3 thing.
Yeah. So I'm glad that it's actually going to come true. So and I'm happy that it got such a warm reception at the conference.
Yes.
It looks cool.
Yeah, it does. Like,
I agree.
It looks just that trailer is very.
But they didn't give a date for it, which means it's probably at least 2 years out.
Yeah, it's way out.
If they even hint at fall 2018, I'll be shocked. Like that looks like a 2019 game at least.
I could see. I could see it being spring 2019.
2020.
Because they at least put dates on everything else they showed.
Yes,
This was the only game they didn't put a date on, so it's at least 2 years out.
2020.
So, along with Last of Us 2, right?
We'll see.
Yeah. Well, you're probably saving that for predictions later tonight, but I digress. But that's it, guys. That was Ubisoft. Overall impressions, would you say? I mean, we're not even going to say it's better than EA because,
Well, we got a question here from
Okay.
old Nikki Caputo. He said, just throwing it out there and would like your opinions. Ubisoft was better than Bethesda.
I would say yes, only because they showed more games that I cared about. Bethesda, they showed off some cool stuff in the beginning, but other than Wolfenstein 2 and Evil Within 2, nothing else really stuck out to me. Like, I don't want to say it was predictable, but it was a lot more stuff that spoke to me for Ubisoft than it did. Because, a Crew, I might want to borrow my brother's copy of the first one and play it just to get an understanding, because I'm trying to get into the car genre this time around, trying to add something to my repertoire, but...
Yeah.
South Park, Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, the Skull and Bones game, like just a lot of the other stuff spoke to me a lot more than Bethesda.
Yeah, I agree. Because Bethesda, like, it was one of the, like, it just, since it was so short, it was one of those, like, when it ended, like, there was
wanted
a lot
more.
to be desired.
Yeah,
so,
like you kept expecting it, and I know we were all shocked by how short it was.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
but
it's
you were,
over.
you saw they showed you the two games that if you saw the leaks expected to show.
Yeah.
But you were expecting like that Starfield game we talked about, like that was leaked to be there, and it's out this year game, and it just felt like it should have been shown, and they just kind of ended. It's like, all right, bye.
Yeah, whereas with Ubisoft, it was one of those, like, they gave the stuff you expected, and then they gave some more. So I was left satisfied.
Yeah, I thought Ubisoft did pretty well from what I saw. Definitely, like just going through the list and everything, they gave more surprises than than Bethesda. So I was happy with it.
I'm asking this is tongue in cheek. I'm being facetious and not being facetious with this. Do you think it was better because Aisha Tyler wasn't there?
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
I'm sure it had a different feel to it than it normally did.
I
mean, in a way, I miss her.
I know. I was too. Like I said, I don't have a problem with Aisha Tyler, but there was definitely not that awkward moment like you normally see at past Ubisoft conferences with her. So
you live for those moments.
I know. But it did have a different dynamic, I thought, and it was just weird. Like I said, we were like 3 games in, and I pointed out to you, it's like, I don't see Aisha Tyler. Where the heck is she? Zach's not here, and then she doesn't show up. It's like, if Zach's not here, she won't be here.
Yep. Thanks, Zach.
She loves you, Zach.
Hey, she knew I was going to be at work and everything.
So she's like, there's no point. There's no point.
Zach's not going to be able to watch, so I'm not going to even do it. And I'm going to get out of bed today.
That's
what she said. Yeah. Nick also said, he was like, "Who's that girl?"
Oh, me?
Yeah. He said,
me.
Zach, who's the new girl? And I said, "Oh, that's Allie.
Yeah.
She's been here for a while. She's Amy's sister." He's like, "Oh, I always thought it was Robbie's sister."
Wow.
Behind the boards. Because, I don't know. But he said that you're doing a great job and that you're a great addition to the network.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
Thank you. That's very sweet.
But that's it, guys.
Yeah.
That's it, guys. Ubisoft 2017 conference is in the books. we still have one more to go through the night, and it's the one that at least two of us are hotly anticipated for. I know you said that was the other one
yeah,
for you, right?
Ubisoft and Sony are always like my two like.
Yeah. So the fact that they're in one day is like Christmas for you too. So we're all hotly anticipated for this. I'm ready to talk shop about this with both of you.
Yeah,
I'm
so
very excited.
technically, no predictions were right or given.
I had
for
my
Ubisoft.
sweet Jesus moment if we could have gotten it to work. Because I said
blame the
Beyond Good and
computer.
Evil 2 would
Actually,
still
no.
be there.
I don't actually. I don't know if I should blame Zach or blame the computer. I'm gonna blame the computer.
Yes.
So let's just put the points up real quick here.
I think I updated them.
Did you
It's
have
scene
them?
7.
Scene 7?
Yes. Are they right? Yes, they're right.
Yeah, there you go.
It should be 5.
There you go. Well, it's not. So suck on that.
That's okay.
Well, you and
Sucks.
Robbie are now tied.
Yes, thank
Yeah, there you
goodness.
go.
Because after last night, IGN broke an article where Fallout VR is coming October, which I did say was the fall. So that's half a point.
Oh wait, then should it be 2? Because you had 1.5.
No, I had 2.5. Remember?
No, you had
'Cause-
1.5.
You
No.
shouldn't have said anything.
No, I got the Microsoft thing right too.
The Microsoft thing?
Yeah, because
Because I know you got 1 point the first day,
Mm-hmm.
and you didn't get any point that one time.
no, I
Sorry.
got 1 point. I got 1 point on. I've gotten points steadily at each conference.
Yes, you're right. I apologize. That's my bad.
Well, guys, we'll
Well, it's
debate.
correct up there, so.
We'll debate numbers and the aftermath. But guys, thank you for
Yeah,
watching.
because I got Dishonored DLC. It's
That's right. Yep. I apologize. That's on me. But the numbers are right up there, so that's what counts.
yeah.
Watching our awesome coverage. We'll be back this night at what time, Derek?
Conference starts at 8 p.m. Central, so our pre-show will be 7 p.m. Central.
Yes, and everything will work perfectly fine because I figured out all the problems.
Because the Grandmaster's here.
I could have smashed hammers into that computer earlier.
I'm glad you didn't. Cause
No, I mean I wasn't going to, but my heart was feeling it.
In her head, she was.
yes.
Yes, in my head.
Well, guys, this has been Zach.
Derek?
And Allie.